This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
On PSN Newsrun, health system suffers another setback as nurses embark on 1-week warning strike, and Dangote dumps Nigerian vessels for foreign vessels. Here are the details. Nurses in Nigeria have launched a 1-week warning strike over poor pay and working conditions, putting pressure on the already fragile health system. Joycelyn files in this report.
Nigeria's public health sector is in crisis again. This time, nurses are working off the job. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NAM, has officially commenced a 1-week warning strike, and hospitals across the country are already feeling the heat. It's a cocktail of neglect, frustration, and broken promises. According to NAM, nurses are demanding better wages, improved working conditions, and immediate implementation of a new hazard allowance and salary structure. At the heart of it all is the failure of government at both federal and state levels to act on earlier agreements. Nurses say they've been pushed to the wall, handling long shifts, understaffed hospitals, and poor facilities, all while earning far less than their counterparts abroad or even in private practice. Many nurses trained in Nigeria are leaving the country in droves for better opportunities overseas. This strike will affect millions of patients relying on public hospitals, from maternal care to emergency units. Services are slowing down. If this warning strike is ignored, it could snowball into a full-blown healthcare shutdown. The government has just 1 week to step in before things get worse, according to the nurses. Nigerians are watching and patients are waiting. And the nurses, they say they've waited long enough. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
Nigeria's maritime and oil communities are up in arms after Dangote refinery began using Angolan and foreign vessels to transport crude and refined products, leaving local ship owners on the sidelines. Let's hear Marianne on this report.
Dangote's refinery, the largest in Africa with a capacity nearing 650,000 barrels per day, has shifted the shipping contracts to Angola-based vessels due to the lack of local capacity. As industry experts confirm, no Nigerian ship currently meets the requirement standard such as Supermax, Suezmax, and Aframax tankers. Officials representing Nigerian ship owners warn that Nigerians' failure to build or finance these large vessels is costing the country dearly. They estimate billions in lost revenue and missed opportunities along the logistic chains, including tax and value addition. Maritime's Association points the stale implementation of cabotage vessel financing funds, CVFF, meant to empower large owners to acquire larger tankers. Without access to capacity or strategic partnership, local ship owners remain sidelines in contracts they should be ideal for. Dangote's choice reinforced the perception Nigeria lacks infrastructure to capitalize on its own energy sector. While the refinery modernized refining capacity, logistic partnership remains dominated by foreign companies. This dynamic deepens Nigerians' dependency despite its massive oil output and refining ambitions. It's a missed economy opportunity that highlights systematic failures in local maritime development, a policy gap in need of urgent remedy. As Dangote continues to refine and distribute, local vessels operators continue to watch from the sidelines. Unless Nigeria rapidly builds maritime capacity or unlocks financing, big-ticket opportunities like these will continue to slip away. Marianne Awuya, PS News.
2 Nigerian law school students have been kidnapped in a shocking attack, with their abductors demanding millions in ransom. The incident has reignited nationwide fears over rising insecurity and the safety of students across the country. Joycelyn's got all the details on this report.
In a recent aggravated kidnapping, 2 students from the Nigerian Law School Agbani campus in Enugu State were abducted around 8 p.m. while buying food at a local market. The gunmen reportedly demanded a 50 million naira ransom for their release. One of the students managed to escape immediately, while the other was held hostage, creating widespread fear and panic among students and their families. This case is part of a broader pattern. Bandits and armed groups have increasingly targeted both tertiary and secondary students across Nigeria, often demanding huge ransoms and triggering mass panic and disruption. From the notorious Chibok and Kankara campuses to more recent attacks in Kaduna and Benue states, schools and their students have become prime targets for ransom seekers. Today's kidnapping of law school students underscores a harsh reality. Even professional students aren't safe. These attacks spotlight ongoing failures in national security, intelligence gathering, and crisis response. Families are caught in a devastating bind. Despite the official ban on ransom payment, which could carry imprisonment for payers, many feel they must negotiate to save loved ones. Meanwhile, security agencies receive criticism for delayed responses and perceived incompetence. This trend is a threat to education and professional advancement. Fear leads to closures, campuses shut down, lecture halt, and students are forced to live in uncertainty. In regions plagued by banditry, education becomes a luxury, shadowed by danger. This tragic event is a symptom of national insecurity and trust erosion. Nigeria's future professionals are vulnerable, and Nigerians are calling on the government to act fast to restore safety and protect the next generation. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
The United States is taking a bold and controversial step, redefining who qualifies for citizenship by birth. A new policy move is challenging a centuries-old principle, and for thousands of Nigerian families, the impact could be life-changing. Tessa Phillips has got all the juicy details.
The United States is shaking the foundation of one of its most iconic principles, birthright citizenship. A new executive order signed earlier this year is trying to change who gets to be an American at birth. For Nigerians and other immigrants, this move could change everything. In January 2025, President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14160, aiming to end automatic U.S. citizenship for children born to undocumented immigrants and temporary visa holders. The order claims only children of U.S. citizens or green card holders should qualify. It's a direct hit on the 14th Amendment, which has guaranteed citizenship to nearly everyone born on U.S. soil since 1868. Federal courts across the country have pushed back hard. Judges in states like Washington, California, and New Hampshire have issued nationwide injunctions, calling the order unconstitutional. But legal battles are far from over. The Supreme Court recently ruled to limit how broadly courts can block federal policies, adding confusion, not clarity. For Nigerian families and thousands of others who travel to the US to give birth, either as students, workers, or even medical tourists, this policy could deny their children the right to US citizenship. It raises fears of statelessness, where kids born in America could be left with no country to call home. It also adds layers of uncertainty around documentation, access to healthcare, education, and legal protections. This fight is far from over, but one thing is clear: the meaning of American citizenship is being rewritten. And for Nigerians hoping to secure a better future through birthright citizenship, it's now a race against politics, policy, and the courts. Tessa Phillips, PS News.
A bold diplomatic move. Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered to mediate the escalating Iran nuclear crisis during a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. signaling Moscow's renewed push for influence in the Middle East. Here's Joycelyn with the details.
In a surprise diplomatic twist, Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered to mediate the ongoing tensions over Iran's nuclear program. This came during a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, raising eyebrows across the global stage. Tensions have been heating up between Iran, Israel, and Western powers, especially after Iran expanded its uranium enrichment activities, moving closer to weapons-grade levels. Israel has repeatedly warned of military actions, and the US has imposed fresh sanctions. Putin, amid ongoing wars and sanctions of his own, sees an opportunity, positioning Russia as a global peace broker, especially in the Middle East, where Moscow has long-standing ties with Tehran and complicated relations with Israel. During the call, Putin urged restraints from both sides, emphasizing dialogue over escalation. Netanyahu, however, doubled down on Israel's right to defend itself against Iranian aggression and nuclear threats. Russia is trying to show relevance, especially as its influence in Ukraine is being challenged and its economy strained by Western sanctions. At the same time, Israel views Russia's closeness to Iran with deep skepticism. Remember, Iran and Russia are military allies in Syria, so Netanyahu knows who he's dealing with. Putin offers could be a strategic PR move, trying to reposition Russia as a stabilizer in global conflicts, despite its aggression in Ukraine. For Israel and the West, it's unlikely they'll trust Moscow to be an impartial mediator. But for Iran, a Russian-led negotiation could help dodge tougher US measures. Bottom line, this call doesn't end the crisis, but it shows the Middle East power dynamics are shifting, and Putin wants to be right at the center of it. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
The Super Falcons have been honored by President Tinubu after the historic WAFCON victory, receiving national awards, cash rewards, and housing in a major show of appreciation. Let's join Sam for this report and other sport headlines.
Nigeria Super Falcons have been honored in grand style following their historic win at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. President Bola Tinubu took the team at a special State House reception where he conferred national honors on all 24 players and 11 technical staff, each receiving the title of Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON.
You make it a milestone in the history of sport. This is the 10th time Nigerian returned triumphant as the champion of the You are the champion of the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations, WAFCON. Your victory represents more than the sport accomplishment. It is a triumph of courage, determination, discipline, and consistency. Honestly, I didn't want to watch the match. I didn't want high blood pressure. But our people came in and turned my TV on to that channel. When it was 2-0, I got very offended and restless. But I was there still watching. the indomitable spirit of resilience, determination, and courage.
In addition, each team member was awarded a 3-bedroom apartment under the Renewed Hope housing scheme and a cash reward of $100,000 for players and $50,000 for officials in Naira equivalent. He pledged continuous government investment in women's football and youth development, calling their story a symbol of resilience and national pride. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu and team captain Rashidat Ajibade both described the win as a victory for every Nigerian girl chasing greatness.
You played with passion, confidence, and an unshakable belief in yourselves that it is not over until it is over. The zeal you displayed on the pitch was nothing short of inspirational. I say to you all, well done.
At the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, we stood toe-to-toe with giants, even defeating the formidable Australian in their home stadium. That was a moment that echoed the strength and tenacity of Nigeria across the globe. These achievements are not ours alone. They belong to every Nigerian who dares to believe that we can compete with the best and emerge victorious.
In further recognition, the Nigerian Governors Forum donated 10 million naira to each team member.
One that inspires belief in the future, belief in our people, and belief in our capacity to rise above challenges. The Super Falcons triumph is a fruit of the unwavering support of sports, your support to sports and for women. You have always believed that sports can unite us, heal us, and uplift our spirit in one of the major drivers of the economy. And today, we have seen it happen.
This marks the Falcons' 10th WAFCON title, a record that cements their legacy and shines a light on the future of Nigerian women's football. Samuel Akpan for PS News. And in other news making the headlines, the Nigerian women's senior basketball team, the Tigers, narrowly escaped a major upset, battling from behind to defeat a tough Mozambique side 60-55 in a nail-biting 2025 FIBA Women's Afro-Basket clash at the Palais de Trècheville in Abidjan. The victory secures Nigeria's spot in the quarterfinals, joining Uganda from Group C, who also advanced after winning both of their opening matches. Inter Milan president Giuseppe Morata has confirmed that next few days are crucial in the club's pursuit for Ademola Lookman. He said, "Talks are ongoing for Ademola Lookman. They want him, but they also respect Atalanta," Morata said. In 2 to 3 days, they hope to proceed and close the deal. Otherwise, they will shift focus. The club remains optimistic, but is prepared to explore other options if negotiations stall. Chelsea are pushing hard to finalize deals for Jorel Hato and Xavi Simons. Talks with Ajax resumed this week after a total agreement was reached with Hato on personal terms. The expected transfer fee hovers around 50 million euros, with both clubs now trying to agree on final details. Meanwhile, Simons has reportedly expressed his desire to join Chelsea. Discussions with RB Leipzig on transfer structure and fees are progressing, and the club remains confident of sealing both deals soon. This is Samuel Akpan for PS News.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.